crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of your women.
The penetrator. Come on, look, because I always went the farthest into the target, goddammit. Libya, Tunisia, Lebanon. It was me, pal. I was always first in, last out.
This thing doesn't want to show itself. It wants to hide inside an imitation. It'll fight if it has to. But it's vulnerable out in the open.
Its blood was on the leaves.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? It's hump day. Yeah, and that means it's time for YouTube Talk. Coach is like, what in the hell? Loki got all active. Loki goes on camera and he's like,
Hey, I like hump day. You know what I'm
saying? Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you? How are you? Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
What is up?
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me, Loki. I see so many of my friends in chat. Love Valhalla. Love being here. I wish I could do this all the time.
Wish you could be here all the time too, brother. It's been a while. What has it been? Last year you were we did YouTube Talk last year. Yeah, I think so.
It was about 2/3 of a year ago. It was at the tail end of the summertime, I believe.
Yep.
When I had really gotten another channel up and going that has since just withered away. But and we could talk about that too. But
oh yeah. Anything you want.
Oh, anything you want. Anything you want.
Well.
And I did not oversleep this time, Adega. But I deserve that.
We got a couple of super chats I want to take care of really quick. Psychodorp9 with a $5 super chat said, headed back home from work. Might have to talk to the VA about my new meds. Have a kick-ass day, everyone. Dude, drive safe. Psychodorp9, be great, brother. Scott Westbrook throws out a $5 super sticker, and it is a pair kicking ass, taking names, doing its thing. What is up, Scott Westbrook? Thank you. Another $2 super chat from Psychodorf9. Sent you a DM of what's on the menu at work. Thank you, brother. I'll be sure to share that if it is shareable. I'm here in a minute, but I want to throw you guys out a skull, a special skull, just for having Coach here this morning. There is a special cold. Oh my God, I can't talk. Talking too fast. A special skull Loki for Echo Base Network, and here it is. Skull. Little nipple gun action first thing in the morning. So ever since I heard Peter Griffin call it that, the nipple gun, we're going to fire the boob nipple gun. I'm like, oh my God, it is a boob nipple gun. Holy crap. I never thought about that. Don't say any no words.
I deserve that too.
N-O,
gosh.
N-O. No.
Nick doesn't let me play that anymore.
Really? Why not? I love that. I love that.
He hates it.
Oh, we're still waiting on the Sunday, Coach.
Oh my goodness. You guys have long memories. Hey, Mark.
What's Sunday?
Fat Steven made a meme of me with a like a McDonald's Sunday ice cream or something, and it just turned into this, you have to buy me one or something like that. And he just stayed on me about an ice cream sundae for like years.
Like a dog with a bone.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark, for your $2 super chat. I guess it was okay. So I want to let's start off with just for a recap for anybody who doesn't know. I'm sure you all know. I'm sure you all know how it started, but just a quick recap. We don't need to stay here for like 10, 20 minutes, but why did you and your partner Nick start EBN?
We started it because Nick wanted to. I really didn't have any interest. The only YouTube I watched was basketball and boxing stuff. Like if I wanted to watch a Mike Tyson fight,
Yeah.
I didn't know a single YouTuber. I didn't know there were YouTubers, like personalities on YouTube. I had no idea. I didn't know a thing. I didn't know you could make money on it. I was completely ignorant on the whole thing. I had no idea how you could make a broadcast, what equipment you needed. I knew nothing. And Nick was like, we need to make, a Star Wars channel. We'll do it together. Star Wars is hot right now. There's a lot of people talking about Star Wars, and why shouldn't we? And I was like, okay. So we just ripped the Band-Aid off and just jumped in with both feet, got the cheapest low-level equipment money could buy.
Which you should do in the beginning.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. And we just got started, and we made a couple of videos, had some horrible ideas. And then we just kept going. And some of these very people in chat were very, very early EBN supporters when Nick and I really didn't know what we were doing. But we were covering the news. We were covering everything about The Last Jedi, leading up to The Last Jedi. We started the channel shortly after The Force Awakens. And that really got us back into Star Wars mode, which, was our number one love of both of our lives, in terms of entertainment. So that's what got us started. And it's just evolved over time.
So originally you would say you were completely focused on talking about Star Wars.
100%. We were a Star Wars channel. We wanted to talk about the games, the toys, the news, the movies, theories, lore, everything. And that's the way that we started. It was just a smash box of information about Star Wars, anything and everything Star Wars.
And So you would almost say you fed that into what you would later learn is called the algorithm. You fed all that Star Wars information into the algorithm.
YouTube knew that we were a Star Wars channel for sure. You know, and early on in the process, Nick had already, Nick watched a lot of YouTube. Nick was a personality on YouTube, so to speak.
Yep.
He already had connections. He already, boy, if you wanna get well known real fast, start throwing somebody a super chat every time they go live. Jeremy, Geeks and Gamers, Doomcock, so many people, big YouTubers, knew who Nick was. I didn't know these people at all. They could have knocked on my door and kicked me in the balls, and I had no clue who they were. But Nick was like, "That's Jeremy," and I'm like, "Who's Jeremy?" And so he was kind of giving me that education and making connections, and they would give us shout outs, and it didn't take very long. We hit 1,000 subscribers and got monetized and was making like $12 a month. It was awesome.
$12 a month. Yeah, that sounds about right. I met Nick before I met you. So I met Nick through Xanadu, and I talked to him and kind of hung out. So when he went live, I'm like, oh, cool, it's Nick. And I was like, who's this guy with Nick, though? And I didn't know, through time, through listening to y'all, we grew up together and, we were in high school together, and I didn't like Nick, and I wanted to beat him up.
So that's when we were in the 7th grade, actually.
Right. Okay.
I
7th grade.
had a little girlfriend that he liked, and he used to mess with her. So in turn, I messed with him. And I'd walk up behind him and hit him in the head with a piece of paper, like a paper ball. I didn't like him at all. Like it was hatred for the two of us. I thought he was dumb. He was a class clown. And I was a lot more serious when I was a 13-year-old than I probably should have been. And I just thought he was an idiot. And then one day
you saw him reading a Star Wars book.
Yeah, I'm walking down one of the aisles in class. We had that class. The Force willed it that we had that class together. And I see a Star Wars book sitting on his desk, and I stopped dead in my tracks. And I looked at him, and it was like the first non-threatening thing I'd ever said to him. And I said, "Dude, you like Star Wars?" And he said, just like he would say today, "I freaking love it, dude." And I said, wow, I was shocked because I didn't know an idiot like him could like something that I liked. So I totally looked at Nick differently. And then we started talking. We just started chatting about Star Wars. And the next thing, I invited him over to the house. Super Star Wars had just came out on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yep.
Nick comes over, hangs out at the house with me for like 5 or 6 hours one afternoon. We're playing the game and just chilling, talking Star Wars. Take him back home. The next weekend, he comes over and spends the night. And we bust out, we're 13. We bust out all of our old toys. He brings all his over. I bring mine over. And it started with, look at this Bosk. Look at this IG-88. Look at this, Snaggletooth. And then it turned into I pick, you pick. And before you know it, we're having a full-blown battle with our men. We're 13 years old. Hadn't played with toys since we were like 6 or 7. We totally went back in time in our friendship. And that's what it was. Like after school, we would watch the original trilogy over the phone. He would turn up his TV and I would turn mine all the way down. I don't know what was so cool about that, but I'm sitting there listening to the movie in the phone, talking to him while mine's all the way down. I don't know why that was cool, but it was. Like we just totally nerded out together. And it was awesome.
So you guys decide to make this channel, to make the EBN channel.
Yes.
And you're completely focused on Star Wars. But
Yeah.
there's an issue. So a couple years ago, I come and meet you guys, and it's at ICC Con, and you go, "Loki, I got something I want to tell you, but you got to keep it. You got to keep it to yourself." And I'm like, "Coach, I didn't know you cared." And you're like, "No, we're gonna break out beyond Star Wars." And I'm like, "Good. That's good. I'm so happy to hear that. You guys can talk about so much stuff, but it wasn't that simple, was it?
Not in the beginning, because and I may say some things that some people hear that have as much as or more expertise in YouTube as I do. You know, Tom's here. Tom. He knows more about this than I do for sure. So we were slaves to the algorithm in the beginning.
Yes.
And we've tried this before and failed. You know, we come out with 5 non-Star Wars videos. They do horribly. And then what do? We revert right back to doing Star Wars only.
Yep.
And then there's the issue that I don't care about any other franchise like I care about Star Wars. I don't know any other franchise like I know about Star Wars. So who wants to hear me talk about DC? I don't know crap about it. You know, I don't have an expertise. I can't speak with authority on things like I can with Star Wars because that's what I know. So there's an issue there as well. So Nick and I bumbling and fumbling, trying to find something to talk about. But then what I learned, and I might be jumping the gun here, so stop me if I am. But what I learned is you could, in my opinion, you could really get caught up in the whole algorithm thing. But if you make good videos, the algorithm's going to take care of itself. So here's where we are currently. We've made over 600 videos on our channel. The number 4 most watched video in our channel's history, the number 6 most watched video in our channel's history, and the number 9 most watched video in our channel's history. 3 of our top 10 videos are about Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Has nothing to do with Star Wars. Has nothing to do with movies. We just covered something that we wanted to cover at the right time. It was still in terms of entertainment, so we didn't really go too far outside. I mean, it's not political. And those videos just blew up. And Nick was shocked. I was shocked. Neither one of us expected anything out of it. I made the video because I wanted to. And that's another dilemma that I think a lot of YouTubers have is there's a fine line between trying to make a video that your audience is used to while they subscribe to you and trying to make them happy, but yet trying to make content that is self-fulfilling might be even more important than that, because you don't want a hollow video from me that I don't really care about and now I'm faking it. I hope you would want something authentic. So, and the trouble with Star Wars is it's been so horrible. Me and Nick get sick of talking about it.
Yeah, and that's something you brought up. You're like, Loki, if this was good stuff, we'd be talking about it left and right. It's really hard to continue to talk about something that is so horrible and try and find anything positive to talk about.
Very little positive to speak of. Now, there are things, but there's not enough, and people aren't watching that. Star Wars is in a state right now where the only videos that get legitimate views that are worth doing is if you're destroying it, because that's the state the franchise is in. You know, we did a Luke Skywalker reaction video and we broke that down and we made, things about that. Those videos blew up. Those videos were great because it was such a wonderful moment. It brought all the fans together. How many more of those moments have we gotten from Disney Star Wars since that moment? None. Not one.
No.
So they're not giving us that. They're giving us garbage that we have to destroy, and I'm sick of it, man. And I'm okay with doing it occasionally. I'm not saying I'm not ever going to be negative. I'm certainly am. I'll make an Acolyte update video today and trash all over it. But I've got more of a balance now where I'm able to actually look at stuff that I like too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you want to talk about stuff you like. You want to talk about that moment where Luke Skywalker showed up and blew everybody away. And as soon as you saw the X-Wing, I remember that. I remember the morning we watched that and Dave Bob going, "It's Luke, it's Luke." And me going, no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. Oh my God, they did.
I couldn't tell, but Dave Bob sounded so emotional that I assumed he was in tears. I could just see him in tears, and he said, "It's back. Star Wars is back."
Yeah.
And it was for a brief moment.
Yeah. Doing something to bring everybody together instead of dividing everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big issue. And you EBN does everything it can to bring people together. You want the conversation. You want the discussion. You're not one of those channels that is like, this is the way it is, and if you disagree with me, poo-poo on you.
No.
Now, Coach can get poo-poo on you. I've seen Coach get poo-poo on you when people are like, poo-poo on you first. But you don't just go out and just poo-poo on anybody. You want to have that conversation, because that's what we do. That's what we do as fans and people who love the content. Is we want to talk about it. We want to have that discussion.
I don't want to be an ass to anybody unless they deserve it. You know what I mean? So we're not going to argue about Star Wars with people. Like, if somebody comes into our show that likes the sequel trilogy, that's their favorite, I don't understand it. I don't see how you could think it, but that's your opinion, and you're welcome to voice it, and we'll just have to disagree. But I'm not going to treat you horribly because of it. But Star Wars is representative of a much larger issue in the world today. Everything is polarizing. Everything.
Yeah.
And if you don't agree with me, you are my enemy. Just go look on Twitter. Yep. Like, it's the bottom of the barrel. It's just hatred on there, pure hatred. And I did want to have a Star Wars channel that is open with anybody. But as it happens, Nick and I have our opinions and our thoughts that align nearly 100% with what used to be known as, and you know this, the Fandom Menace. We were considered a Fandom Menace channel. We were. We were. When the Fandom Menace was a thing, we were considered a Fandom Menace channel. Yep. That was our beginning. And it's not because we're like, we paid a fee to join up. We didn't get a sticker or anything. We didn't get a badge in the mail. It's because this is the way that we see things. And it wasn't groupthink. It wasn't a collective. It was, hey, I'm an individual, and this is how I take it. They're really destroying Star Wars, and here's why. And I just happen to agree with their takes. I've never made videos for rage clicks. I have never not one single time clickbaited somebody. But we're in a world now where if you make a video that somebody doesn't like, they're going to call you a clickbait grifter, along with all the other words too. The main two are clickbait grifter, but then they're going to call you an incel, bigot, basement dwelling,
Yahtzee.
Exactly. All of those things. I need to make a T-shirt with a list of all their playbook names. And just put a check mark by them all. But the main two are grifter, clickbaiter. It's not clickbait just because you don't like my take. Clickbait is my video is not about what it says it is. That's what clickbait is. I don't have a single video. Actually, I do. Nick and I made a thumbnail where we were talking about how great the Ahsoka episode was, and we absolutely and totally lied. And we sat there I said it was a 9 out of 10. He said it was an 8.5 out of 10. And all we did throughout the entire video was trash it. And people got to the end of the video and they were like, wait a minute, but you gave it a 9? Yeah. We were trolling.
It's the joke. It's a joke.
It was the joke. And we had so much fun doing that, but something's not clickbait just because you don't like it, So people change the meaning of words, and that really does irritate me. When people just use words that they don't know what they mean. Call me something else, but don't call me a clickbaiter. Whatever. And the other thing too is I don't care what anybody thinks. People can call me whatever. I just laugh now. I used to be very sensitive to comments. Very sensitive.
I remember.
Yeah. I have alligator skin now. I could take a saltwater bath with open wounds. You can't hurt me now.
Yeah.
I don't care. It is what it is. And I just smiley face, thanks for helping out the channel by commenting. Whatever.
That's the name of the game, though. I mean, if you don't have a little bit of a tough skin, I remember I remember me and you called me and you were like, Loki, it's going off in the comments. This was back when I lived in Branson. This was like 4 years ago. It's going off in the comments and they're hating us. And I think it's the end. And then you switched. You had this mental switch where you were like, it's all burning down around me to, you know what? You want to blast me? And you just went, you went into attack mode, and I was like, brilliant.
So I'm a good counterpuncher, and I can only take so much. And once I decide to fight, most of the time, you just lost. You know, because I'm not going to lose. You're that way, by the way. You don't lose. Nick is that way. Nick is that way. Nick doesn't lose. He'll go to however far you want to go. There will be no give.
Yep.
You know?
Once we are on course, it's I used to liken it to what the Roman Empire used to say, which is the rams touch the wall. And what that means is once that battering ram hits the wall, that's it. There is no take backs. There is no, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Peace. There is no white flag. Once it's on, and there's no going back after that.
But you know, you mentioned the algorithm, and here's something that a lot of people haven't noticed or recognized with our channel. I don't know if you've even had this thought. So the light bulb might go off over your head right here, Loki. When the Luke Skywalker video came out, we went from 3,000 subscribers, to like 17 in 2 days.
Yep.
We just hit 35,000 subscribers, which I am blown away. I cannot believe it. But you know what? To me, the amount of subscribers is not indicative of success. That's not how I measure success at all. It's about your community and your people and how much they support you.
Yep.
Just some jackleg makes some viral video that blows up, and you know, people have hundreds of thousands or millions of subscribers and they don't do anything for views. That's you know, that's not indicative of success. So, but the thing with the algorithm is, what made our channel explode was a great Disney Star Wars moment that was incredible. Luke Skywalker coming back, but our videos don't align with that at all. Our videos aren't praising Star Wars. Oh my gosh. 3-inch Jawa. Our videos don't align. They're completely opposite than the Luke Skywalker moment. They're trashing on what Disney and Kathleen Kennedy has done, and Ray Skywalker and J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson and the sequel trilogy documentary that we made, and all of those things. That's what our channel is honestly built on. So we can't worry about the algorithm. We just got to do what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Do what you do and enjoy it and love what you're doing. Yeah. That's, I mean, I know a lot of people worry about that. And I know a lot of people equate that. One of the worst things I ever heard was, and it bugged me because it was from someone at the time that I had somewhat amount of respect for. They said, what does Loki know? Loki didn't know fucking shit. He's only got 2,000 subscribers. And I was like,
that's nothing to do with it. That's ignorance. That's ignorance speaking. But a lot of people are that way.
The person they were talking to eventually went, nothing they said helped me. And it said, because they equate their own success with this like thing they think that they manipulated. Oh, I tricked it into doing what I want it to do. You can't trick it to doing into what you want to do. You have to put your content out there. You have to have love and care for what you're doing. If you just don't give a shit about it, you're going to end up like that one guy that sits there and he's like, if I don't make at least, you know, $200 to $2,000 a week, blah, 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 then it ain't even no reason to, bitch. Are you serious? There was a guy playing a game, coach, that was like, unless I get $100 super chat right now, I'm gone.
Bye.
You guys can kiss my ass. I'd tell him just buy, and he got his money. Someone sent him his money.
That's crazy. If subscriber count was the goal, you would have way more. That's not your goal.
Mm-mm.
That's not what you're after. So that's, people lose sight of that. You're more than capable of making videos every week, pushing them out, and having more subscribers than we got. If that's what you wanted to do, that's not what you do. So people taking shots and things like that, that's just ignorance. And they just love to attack making stuff up, anything that they can.
Anything that they can. God help me. God help me. How what's it been like as far as like drama? You don't have to go into specifics about anything. You don't have to, because we never do that here. But just what's it been like dealing with the space and the people in that space?
Oh man. So for me, I have been very up and down with YouTube in terms of motivation for several different reasons. Star Wars is in a bad place. I don't sometimes making a video is such a chore. Like I have no heart in it. I don't want to do it. I'd rather do anything else. But I go ahead and make the video anyways. Other times it's fun again. Ahsoka comes out, me and Nick are watching it, and we're just watching it get worse and worse. And now in terms of drama, there's been drama, and there's been a lot of good things too. Nick and I have had a couple of intense moments where we get into it, and the thing is like we're a team. We need to help each other with motivation, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes he doesn't give me a nudge in the right direction. I don't give him a nudge in the right direction. We want to do that for each other when we can. He struggles with it. I struggle with it. Other times we're having fun. We're making videos. We're doing stuff together. Our live stream's always been good. We had a little falling out where we almost ended the channel. That was A. B, we were just going to host different nights and not do anything together. C, he was going to leave and just leave me with the channel and start his own thing. Or D, I was going to leave and just leave him with the channel. And we had about I'd say about a 3 or 4 week long issue where it wasn't good. But you know what? Family, everything's not always sunshine and rainbows with family. Sometimes you get into it and you overcome it. Peace is calmness in the eye of the storm. It's not the absence of problems. And we weren't feeling that peace, but we were able to reestablish that and get right back to where we left off, because that's what we do. Guys get in a fight, and 1 minute later, hey, let's go get a beer. Yep. Hey, I remember the last fist fight I got in. Literally, I was 20. Right, 5 minutes after the fight, there was a knock at my door, and it was the guy's fault. And he goes, "Hey man, let's go get a drink." And I go, "All right." And I get in his truck and we go.
Yep.
That was just part of it. But then other things too, like, I don't know if it's drama or whatever, but maybe your subscriber base is unhappy because you're not making Star Wars content, or maybe people get unhappy because your take is not their take and they're a longtime person that's been around. Oh boy. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Oh gosh. I missed that.
Thank
hat,
you, Daryl.
I missed that hat.
What happened to the hat?
I don't know. I think it got so dirty I just threw it away. White hats,
Yeah.
Especially playing disc golf in it out in the weather, touching it with my dirty hand, and all that. Anyway,
I'm a hat guy, so I'm a hat and a beanie guy. I love my beanies. I love my hats. But there are 2 hats I won't wear. One of them is a white hat. that I got when we were on our honeymoon on the island that we got married at. It says "Get Lost" with the coordinates of the island on it, and then my EBN hat that are hanging up in my den because it's a freaking white hat, and I know it's gonna get dirty if I wear it. So
yeah. Awesome, bro.
my Wayland Utani hat, it's like shit. It's got something growing on it
That's
because
all
it's a
right.
black hat, and you
Yeah.
just go out and you do the yard stuff.
That's all
and-
right. But there's drama. Other YouTube channels take shots at you, or they invade your comments to try to throw you off or make you look less than or wrong. And you gotta, you handle that the way that you want to handle it. And the thing is, like, gosh, there's been so many. I said it in my appreciation post when we hit 35,000 subs the other day, that it's been such a journey filled with discovering great friends and people that we consider family. I mean, we really have. And there's been so many good moments too. Can I share a good moment with you real fast?
Yeah. And this is about you guys. So yeah,
one of the best moments. There was a man named Brian who passed away. And he was a big Star Wars fan. Now, I really shouldn't be the one talking about Brian, because Brian, the person's name that you have highlighted there, Daryl, Brian was Daryl's best friend. That was his nick. And Daryl's told me that. Daryl's told me the story. I remember when this happened. Well, Daryl, after Brian passed away, reached out to me asking me if I was interested in buying Brian's Star Wars collection. Now, Brian had more Star Wars in his collection than I'm capable of buying, much less housing here. But Brian's sweet mother, we got in touch with each other, and I was able to buy a few pieces of his collection, like a lot of his action figures. When the box arrived, the lady, his sweet mother, Jennifer, I opened the box and the first thing I see was his picture. And I'm going to be honest, this was weird to me. I opened a box expecting to see these Star Wars toys that I just bought. It was like Christmas. I'm excited. And I see this picture and I'm like, oh, this just got awkward for me. And then I'm looking at the picture and then I see on the back, and she has written me a message. And it reads, "My son, Brian Douglas Calloway. These are my son's figures since he was 8 years old. I lost him to cancer at the age of 50. This was very hard for me, and I pray you say his name when showing off his collection." And I sent that sweet lady a message that broke my heart when I read it.
God bless moms.
Yeah, it broke my heart when I read it. And I sent Mom a message, and I told her not only would I share Brian's name, but I'm going to put his picture inside my display case next to his figures. And anytime somebody comes over to look at them, I will tell them his story. And Daryl and I are collaborating on doing something else in addition to that. So that is an example of a great moment, a very fulfilling moment that it's heartbreaking, but it's also a good one,
Yeah. No, and EBN does stuff like that. Guys, right a month before the COOF, 1 month before the COOF started, this would have been February 2020. I lost my dad, and Coach put together this wonderful video about fathers and sons and Star Wars.
Yeah.
Absolutely blew me away. I could not believe it. I was able to get him a picture, which was hard for me because I don't have many pictures of me and my dad from when I was a kid, and I don't have. I kept looking through what I had. Finally, I found this picture of him and my daughter, and he's like kicking back on the couch, and she's like cuddled up next to him, like sleeping, and he's like, got his head back and he's chilling. And that was my dad.
Was it a
In a
recliner?
nutshell. Yeah.
Yep, that's what dads did.
Yeah. So,
well, that was something that we've kind of gotten away from. And you know why we did it? You know why we got away from them, Loki? Well, one, they were hard work. It was hard to keep coming up with and finding the stories to share that were meaningful stories. But another reason that we got away from it, and this is the opposite of success. They didn't perform well. So I let that stop me from doing something that was actually beneficial for people that they enjoyed.
And that you enjoyed making.
Yeah. And so that's another thing. Like, that's why Nick and I are talking about bringing it back. So be on the lookout.
And it's a wonderful thing you did. It's an absolutely wonderful thing.
Thank you.
There's no reason not to do stuff.
I don't even have those anymore. They're gone.
What do you mean?
The videos. They're gone.
Really?
So we moved all of them over to our secondary channel. And when Nick and I got into a fight, when we got into the fight, in an effort to appease Nick, we were splitting up. I gave him that channel. I built it. And I rebranded it for him. I changed the name. I changed the logo. I changed everything. All of those videos were in that channel unlisted. And Nick didn't do this purposefully, like as in a I'm going to get you
spiteful way. Yeah.
He was just cleaning up the channel. He deleted all the videos. He didn't know that we didn't have them backed up anywhere else, but that's where they were at. So our entire Why We Love Star Wars series is gone, and there is no now. With that being said, if somebody wanted to painstakingly go through all of those early live streams, they're in there. So they can be found.
Yeah.
They're there. But you're going to have to go through and look for them to be able to see them.
Well, I know I've still got mine. So if you ever do if you ever want it without having to go and look for it and dig through unlisted live streams forever, I'll be more than happy to send you that one.
Awesome.
I do have mine. So
very cool.
I guess it's just a lesson that it's one of those things that, I've always said, I'm going to do it my way. I'm not going to let, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to enjoy myself. If you're not having fun, something's wrong. And there's been a couple of people that have argued that with me. It's a job. It's work. It's not supposed to be fun. You're supposed to be producing something to move forward and constantly forward. And if you're not going forward, then you've lost the fight, yada, yada, yada. And maybe a portion of that is correct. I'll at least admit that. But the fun thing, I've got to enjoy what I do. I have to enjoy what I do. Mike, our good friend Mike, Mexican Iron Man, says I'm a starving artist. And a lot of that I'll agree with. I butted my heads against, doing things other ways, and I'm stubborn. I'm a stubborn ass. I am. I'll admit that. I'm a stubborn ass once I set this is what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to let this get out of hand, and I'm not going to let the algorithm control me, and I'm not going to be a rabbit trying to chase it, and all of this nonsense that I don't want to get involved in because I don't want it to change how I do things.
Sure. And people are built differently in that regard. Nick is more like you. It has to be fun for Nick. And what is fun for Nick? The social part of it.
Yeah.
Nick's way better socially than me. I'm the kind of person, depending on the mood that I'm in, if I go somewhere out in public and see a bunch of people, you might get quiet, don't say very much, coach, and then you might get the center of attention trying to make everybody laugh, coach. You don't know who's going to show up. I don't either. I don't know until I'm there. I'm just built that way. I can't explain it. I don't know why I'm that way. I'm just that way. But you know what's fun for me? I love our community and I love our people. But the thing that I get the most, gosh, I guess what gets me rolling the most is the grind. I love the grind. Just when it becomes overwhelmingly negative, and that's all it is, the grind wears me out then. But I like the grind. I like, get these video out. Let's do this on Patreon. Let's do this reaction video. We got a member stream. We got, I love that. And another thing that it took me a long time to realize is, don't compare you on YouTube against others, especially those who aren't confined in terms of time like you are. I work 60 hours a week at my job.
Yeah.
I teach all day long. I wake up at 4:30 every morning to go drive a school bus. My route is an hour long. Well, I have to do the pre-check. I have to be there 30 minutes before my route begins.
Yep.
I pick up all the kids, drop them off at school, go inside, teach all day, load the bus up with kids, and my route in the afternoon is an hour and 15 minutes. And then I live 45 minutes away. So I don't get home until 5. So I'm working right at 12 hours,
Yep.
Monday through Friday. Most of the videos that I make on our channel are done between 9 and 10 o'clock at school, because that's my planning period. I have a 1 hour planning period a day. And if I got all my school stuff done, I'm looking at the news, I'll make a quick video. That's where, it's hard for me to come home with other things, with a wife and 2 daughters and 3 dogs. And we've got church, and I've got disc golf league, and I've got all these other things, that I'm doing. I can't compare myself to Ryan Kennel. Ryan Kennel does a great job, but he's also able to make 87 videos a day if he wanted to, because he's a full-time YouTuber.
Yeah.
So I can't sit there and look at him and be like, that's my competition. That's who I want to go up against, or be like, I can't do what he does. The most you're going to get out of me is 1 or 2. Anytime significant news drops, Ryan covers it, and it's always good. And his channel just continues to grow. And I'm using him as an example. And I like Ryan. Ryan has called me on the phone. We've had private conversations. He has helped us and me. We did a video one time that he thought was in bad taste. He called me on the phone and let me know, hey, I think you should reconsider that video, bro. I'm just telling you. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you my perspective. Here's why. I didn't do it, but I listened to him, and I cleared it up, publicly in a comment on the channel, so people would know my intentions of the video. But yeah, don't compare yourself to people who are full-time and you're part-time. That's apples and oranges. You're not in the same universe.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's different channels. You've got game channels, you've got news channels, you've got entertainment channels, you've got morning show channels, you've got all these different channels, and it's not all the same. And when there's different growth, that's the first thing that people always bring up to me. Loki, why is this not happening? Why is that not happening? I don't know. I'm not behind the desk. I'm not producing your show. Give me a quick answer. There is no quick answer, because everybody's different, and everybody who does it is different. And there is no easy. The worst thing I've ever heard is someone trying to sell you, if you do this and you do it my way, you'll have 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
That's all smoke and mirrors. And if you get anything out of that, it's probably going to be a circle of creators that works with this person that pays the same fee that you do, that is going to be lumped into subscribing to your channel because they're all part of a network that pays for clicks. You're paying for a click or a sub or whatever. You're just doing it a different way.
You know who explains the algorithm well? Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. The algorithm is like the Force with no Jedi in the universe. Nobody. YouTube doesn't even explain it well. They don't even know.
No.
Here's the thing. Here's what we know. If you make a video, it doesn't matter what it is. It does not matter what it is. It could be me talking about apples, whatever. If the first couple of people that watch that video watches it, if they don't click off, in the first minute of that video, they're still there watching, they will push it out to more people. If they watch it, a percentage of them, and they keep watching, they watch the majority of it, YouTube will push out anything that they're going to make money on. That's the algorithm. That's the algorithm. So when I did a Mike Tyson video, the news had just dropped. Mike Tyson was going to fight Jake Paul. The biggest one right now is 228,000 views. It's a 5-minute and 56-second long video. I will even disclose how much money we have made on that video. And I don't talk about money very often, because Nick and I don't make a whole lot. We're nowhere close to being able to quit our jobs and go full-time on YouTube. But boy, I wish I could. 228,000 views, 9.7 thousand hours of watch time. We've gained 196 subscribers, and we've made $612 on that video. $600 on a video with 228,000 views. So when you see these channels that get hundreds of thousands of views on every video they make, you're looking at somebody that's probably a full-time YouTuber. Ryan Kennel has the views on his videos where he don't have to do anything else. He's making $200, $300, $400, $500 on every video or more. He's doing quite well. Echo Base Network, Nick and I get one of these, I don't know, once a year. Once a year, we make a video like that. And our average video that we make, let me scroll down here. Let me go average video. Okay, here is, and I wouldn't even say that 10,000 views is average. You know what our average is? Right now, because of the videos that have blown up, our average view count on a video is between 2,000 and 3,000 views. 2,000 and 3,000. So I'm scrolling down to a video, 2,800 views. Did Kathleen Kennedy lie? 1:25. And we made on that video $5.34. That's it. And that means that I got $2.67 because Nick's getting half of that, even though he didn't make the video. We split everything. So it's just, it's got to be fun. It's got to be enjoyment, But boy, let me tell you, brother, if we could come out with a video with 100,000 views once a week, we'd be happy. That would change our lives, financially speaking. If we could do that, but we haven't been able to find that yet.
Is that the goal?
I would.
It's not bad to say. It's not bad to say yes. It's not bad to say yes. This isn't a. How dare you be successful? Loki's never ever. Loki doesn't think that way. So Loki wants all of his friends to succeed, and I want you to be able to do what you want to do, and if you want to do YouTube full time, that's what you should be able to do. Then
that's precisely the answer. And I don't feel bad saying that. Yes. Views and revenue, ad revenue is the goal, or memberships with our live streams is the goal.
Memberships keep the lights on.
because
I've always said that memberships
absolutely,
keep
yeah,
the lights on. It keeps the shows going.
that's your
Um,
biggest level of support. There is
yeah,
there's no greater support than that. Um, Now that's not the goal necessarily with Nick, and the irony there is that Nick, I'm in a lot better financial situation than Nick is. Nick's never been in a good financial situation since we were teenagers, and
another
I'll sh-
thing me and Nick are alike on.
yeah, I'll share. We're my family and I we're debt free. We don't, all we do is pay our bills. We don't have any debt. Now that being said, I've got two daughters that are going to be going to college soon, and they're going to have weddings. And I just bought my daughter a used car that cost us $27,000. But praise God, we had enough money saved up where we could pay for it. But that's not YouTube. That's YouTube money that we make that's my spending money. That's me buying lights for the studio. That's me buying the new monitor because my other one went out. You
Yeah.
know, that's money that we use to super chat on channels. That's money that we use to buy software that we need or renew our Adobe Photoshop subscription, renew our Netflix, renew our if I could write it off with EBN because this is a business, then I do.
Yeah,
Then I do.
Of course you do.
And that's the money that I use there is the money that I make on the channel. So anyways, but so is that my goal? Yeah, it's more my goal than it is Nick's because I could retire in 6 years and not have to work anymore and this be my job. Well, we don't make enough revenue right now per month for me to be able to afford to do that. We're not even close. So I would like to grow and be in that position in 6 years. But how's Star Wars going to be in 6 years, guys? Is anyone going to be talking about it? Unlikely.
That's sad. That's sad too, because we went, and I know we haven't talked a lot about Star Wars, guys, but that's not been the point today. It's sad that we went from this is a religion that people, I mean, literally, like this is a religion. Star Wars is going to be around forever. To you burn the baby in its basket, and it might never ever really. I mean, once they've milked this, it's done.
That's about where we are.
I honestly believe once Disney's done milking this,
when the Acolyte comes out, there's no telling what kind of destructive force this show can be. This could be it. Like if they keep going at the rate that they're going, they will have to stop making Star Wars because there will be no profitability. They're losing money on everything they do.
imagine when you were a teenager, a Star Wars hotel, a Star Wars themed hotel. I mean, imagine that when you were a teenager.
I'd be begging.
And look, it's done. It's over. It's Star Cruisers or whatever the hell it was is dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's buried. They cemented it. They took the building and they just filled it with cement, and it's done.
Yep.
Galaxy's Edge is a joke. Could you imagine Mos Eisley instead of Mos Eisley Cantina, because they had a Mos Eisley Cantina when I went in 2004. Imagine a Mos Eisley's land. Mos Eisley Spaceport. And as you come in, you've got, Obi-Wan. There's never been more wretched hive of scum and villainy. You must be cautious, visitor. And you go in and you're in Mos Eisley Spaceport. And you get to go to the cantina. And you get to sit where Han Solo and Obi-Wan and Luke and Chewie sat. And they've got all kinds. And you've got a big sign that's like, this is where they, sat. This is the table. And you've got all this stuff. You've got, and they, instead of doing something like that, they've done this Galaxy Edge. I mean, imagine going to the hangar. Imagine going to the hangar where the Millennium Falcon is, and they've got like, as soon as you walk in, you see the stormtroopers bringing in the, turret gun and setting it up and choo choo and Han choo 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 and running in the ship. And that's like that's part of, whether it's animatronics, whether it's actors, whether it's whatever, they could have cashed in so big, and they did this make-believe Batu weirdo land that has 2 rides that never work and is nothing but a big shopping mall.
Yeah. So the way that they went about Star Wars, and I could even say that George Lucas did some of this too, and this could open up a huge can of worms that you don't want to open up right now, Loki, as you're winding the show down. But Disney Star Wars has done nothing to create any type of intrigue for younger audiences to go watch the original trilogy. None.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't care. They haven't watched it. They don't know anything about it. Now George Lucas was kind of that way too, I would say, in his later years. He didn't do things to try to get people to go back and watch the original trilogy. Now, 1997, I don't like the special editions, but that was brilliant. Putting the movies back in the theater nationwide, going back, being able to revisit Star Wars in the cinema again a couple of years before The Phantom Menace. Man, that's how you do it, right? That was brilliant.
Yep. And doing the
he did that
stuff.
And he did that to fund the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
And it did. Now, Star Wars is such bad shape now, they're having, on May the 4th, StarWars.com announced that they're having the marathons. You know how many movie theaters are going to have them?
13.
13 in the world. I'm 9 hours away from the closest one in Chicago. Needless to say, I won't be celebrating on May the 4th.
There's an Alamo Draft House in California. I think it's San Francisco too. That's going to, at 9 p.m. at night, they will start playing Phantom Menace, and then it'll go for 20 hours.
Mm-hmm.
If you leave, they will give your seat away. They have people on standby waiting, so that if you walk out those doors for a smoke or whatever, they've got people ready to go in and take your seat.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I know a couple of them, or at least one of them, has sold out. So that must be the one.
Yeah, that's the Alamo.
Yeah,
it's the Alamo. Because I looked and they were like, yeah, there are no tickets. Because they're going to completely redesign the lobby. They're going to have stuff in it. They're going to have some animatronic stuff. And they're going to have like Han Solo's blaster, the DL-44, the real prop that he had that sold for so many hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're going to have like an exhibit where they've rented pieces from collectors and do something big for their. But yeah, 20 hours, and if you leave, you're screwed.
And it's the only way you could get a sneak peek of the Acolyte that everybody's just dying to see.
Yeah, that's going to be your reward. Is that you're going to get to see a preview of the Acolyte.
Space lesbians.
Why are they 20 hours when only 6 are worth it? I don't know. I'd go see the OG trilogy. If anywhere was showing the first 3 movies, I'd go and see that. I'd sit through all day in that.
Sure.
I had to sit through one of the most horrible 3 movies ever. And if I can do that, I can sit through 3 of the best movies ever. The OG trilogy. So I want to thank Coach for coming on this morning, taking the time to come on. I know you're busy. I know you never get to come on. I know there's times you've called me and been like, Loki, you want to come on YouTube Talk? Burn it down. And I've been like, come on YouTube Talk. I'm working. And it sucks, dude. My dad went from, a Navy pilot to a teacher. He did exactly what you're doing. He had to get there early. He had to do books. He had to do, bus stuff. And he didn't get home till, 5, 6 o'clock at night. So leaving the house 6, 7 o'clock, getting home 5, 6 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And all he wanted to do was chill. And he didn't get to do that because as soon as he got home, it was like honeydew, 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 honeydew. So,
Oh yeah, I totally get that.
but thank you, Coach. Thank you, chat, for being here. We are going to send you over to Machini's Draws for the morning block, the rest of the morning block. But before we do that, guys, if you aren't subscribed to Coach and Nick over at Echo Base Network, they just passed 35,000 subscribers. 35,000 Loki, 35,000, 35K subscribers. So make sure you go over there, you subscribe, ring that bell, and check out their content.
Thank you, brother, for having me and for all your support that you've given us. And thank you, chat, for putting up with me. I greatly appreciate y'all.
Thank you for taking the time to come on this morning. And thank you for this, because this is Coach's fault. And this is what plays every single morning and every time we leave. So, guys, be great, be excellent to each other. Always speak friend to enter. And we'll see you guys on the next YouTube talk.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.